Shanks, we get it. You're pretty good at this champion. We couldn't really punish you as much as we wanted to in that early game, which, despite them trying a lot of different things. So getting that one off the board, and of course being on the blue side does lend them that. I was just about to say maybe the Jace comes in, but the Tristana has been left open, and the Vi as well. So maybe we're gonna see a trade back, and the Kais. Actually, I just remember so many things left open here.
Yeah, so I wonder if this is gonna be for WE Vi plus Tristana, and then you look for Xayah on 3, or maybe even the Rakan, right? I think those are all your options. That way, if you have the Tristana and the Rakan, you can hold on to the flex of the Tristana as well. I feel like those are probably going to be the things that W are considering, because there is no way that you want to go to 2-3 with JDG and let them have Vi, Kai'Sa, and Rakan. That feels like a death sentence before the game has even started. Here's the Tristana. Let's see where WE's heads are at, because I feel like it has to be the Vi at the very least. You pick apart that, then, you know, you kind of do limit what Kanavi can look to in terms of those meta jungle picks.
I mean, the Tristana does come in. It is a bit of flex as well. Shanks could take that one there. I will say having Hope and Iwandi here with such an aggressive bot lane would also suit, especially when you're trying to go into something like the Kai'Sa. We'll see if JDG want to lock in the Nautilus as a, you know, kind of guaranteed pairing there. Again, the Rel can be a little bit of a flex if they do choose to have it, but would be expecting that one to be going into Iwandi's hands regardless of how everything else goes. JDG now thinking about where they want to try and bring the rest of their draft and see what they want to go for. Honestly, with the Jax ban, they might lock in their solo laners, just go with the Ahri and the... Or even, actually, excuse me, I've just completely forgotten the Ahri and the Vi. Yeah, it's Vi straight away.
Still up. Like, this is such a strange level of prioritization on the Rel for me, for the WE side. I mean, I get it, Rel is a really powerful champion, and you know, even in its old iteration, right, before the rework, it did excellently at dealing with engage. In fact, I would actually argue it worked better as a counter engage tool than an engage tool. So a lot of misunderstanding of how the champion worked before the rework. But giving over again, you know, this pairing, right, it's still a very similar vein. I said Kai'Sa Vi plus the Rakan. Kai'Sa Vi Ahri still very much does the exact same thing and doesn't really need the Rakan for follow-up. You can still land on a lot of different champions here. So let's see where WE go. They go towards the Sedge. So this time, double mountain again, right? The engage and the re-engage. This time with the Tristana, so a little bit of flexibility, and maybe Cube ends up on, you know, a carry in the top side that they can work with. I'm kind of visualizing it now. I feel like W are going to leave K'Sante up, try and bait JDG to go into it, and then actually look towards the Gwen on 5. I think that's what the angle is here from WE. Looking kind of far ahead, but if you're looking at bans, you have to remove the Rakan, right? There's no way you let this go up in terms of composition, and then you probably remove the Nautilus, and at that point, you've hamstringed missing enough, but he's still going to find something, surely, right?
Oh, the Alistar.
To find picks. Alistar's there as well. Yeah, exactly. So he still has options. Just feel like JDG are in a really easy spot to navigate, as they also read that it's going to be double AD carry, or at the very least, they want the Xayah gone, so the chances of double AD carry are a lot more limited.
Yeah, absolutely. They actually go with the Ornn this time around, so trying to get rid of that very safe thing here. And like you said, this does feel almost textbook Coach Jamada here on the chat, because this feels like WE are kind of saying, look, go for it, take this thing, because they're going to go for the mid, you would imagine now, to go into the Ahri, and then go for the Gwen.
I can see it. They're going to put Trist bot. Shanks is going to go towards Silas. They actually banned out K'Sante themselves, JDG. That's really curious. So I feel like, oh, they are going to send Trist mid. Okay, so Varus then.
Still go with the Gwen.
Side for Hope, it seems like. And that still opens up for the Gwen on the top side, but the K'Sante is banned. And I feel like this is actually quite smart from JDG, because now it kind of pushes WE away from that Gwen idea and towards something a little bit more like potentially that Renekton on 5 if JDG leave it up. So this is still saying to JDG that they have to go towards the Renekton as potentially a takeaway, unless they want to go for something like, I don't know, super dive heavy. You mentioned the Alistar. This feels like a foregone conclusion, right? For missing. But it's about what 369 actually wants in the top side for me as well. As again, we're still considering, you know, more damage, more dive. What do you really want? The question will soon be answered here.
And if we're thinking about standard things here for JDG, could go with the Renekton. I was going to say, but just before he hovered it, 369's very, very comfortable on this champion now, and with the K'Sante banned away as well. Love to see that from JDG, just kind of recognizing it. And it looks like WE just going to go with that more standard front-to-back team fight with the AP Varus in bot lane, get the AD Tristana in mid, and with the Poppy kind of joining in with the Rel and the Sejuani now locked, they are looking for, again, a very solid front-to-back team fight.
Yeah, front to back. I think this is probably the best way that WE could have rounded out, given a couple of the bans that are thrown out. I like JDG's read there. I think removing the K'Sante from the equation actually, you know, takes away that potential double AD carry plus the Gwen situation. So really interesting that they self-removed it when they could have had it themselves, right? And kind of opted in for more dive into double AD carry. Ornn as well taken away, just so there's less overhead from JDG's point of view. So Vi going to be working as that primary engage, right? And everything else from JDG is going to have to be followed up on, whereas WE have to basically deal with the engage. And I'll be honest, they actually have so many strong disengage tools that this is going to be an interesting game, right? It's going to be what I so often refer to as, hey, who's getting to objectives first? Who's able to set up first? Because if it's WE with all of this disengage, that's going to put you at, you know, a positional advantage a lot more of the time than if you have to walk in and then potentially get engaged on as well. So you kind of get to pick your fights a lot more freely. Priority around those objectives is going to be key for whoever is going to come out ahead in some of these team fights as we move into game number 2.
Going to be very, very key. Good smiles and a bit of laughter coming out from the JDG guys there on the face cams, but for WE, you really need to try and start, you know, kind of building that momentum. Get a little bit messy. Look for those odd-numbered skirmishes that we saw them do in game number 1. They were able to try and, you know, confirm themselves to a lot of those kind of pickoffs, especially on the 369. Just unfortunately that the one team fight they took was late enough in the game that the game could have been ended, and that's all JDG needed. So not exactly the wipe that we expected coming out from JDG. WE definitely looking more competitive, but for JDG now, I believe just get themselves this win, 2-0, 99% sure they will just be too far away for top esports and will confirm themselves top 2 as well. So this is to get into that double elimination, guarantee themselves that GA when they start off in their playoffs journey.
Yeah, 2-0 potentially does lock JDG. Still, I think we need official confirmation because our maths is always bad, right? But I'm pretty sure you're right. As oh, we're getting a dance? I mean, look, I don't. Oh, Hope!
Hope!
He
You broke the.
Okay.
Oh,
Nope, that's
no.
right. No. You know, look,
JDG, execute them.
yeah, execute order 66 right now.
Yeah.
Go on, full side, bot side, split the map. Yeah, don't let JDG play the game. Yeah, perfect. This, what a
Good.
terrible. He just violated the Geneva Code.
The sacred code,
JDG,
the unspoken law.
This is right. Deal with this invade. Deal with it. Come on. It's going to be like Q flash from missing 3 people knock up. I want to see it. Make sure that they get punished for this.
Here we go.
Because that's horrible.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they go for any kind of fight off of this one here. They are going to crash down. The smite comes in. No. They go straight over to the side of JDG. Flash for flash. But where is your auto attack now? Iwandi gets himself over the side of the pit. And you know what, WE? I have no sympathy. You broke the sacred code and you get punished because of it.
You know, and even worse, Hope ended up with the red buff, so for WE, this just sets Hung behind, because Kanavi's got a camp to immediately walk to. Hung's got to go from base back to jungle, and then solo clear with E starts to Sejuani and no smite on red buff. So he is going to be painfully behind. Kanavi could even do... Okay, I think they're going to cover it with a ward, maybe WE. I was going to say, they could even do Crux into bottom side. They could also just punish the bottom side of an early gank here from Kanavi, who still has flash, and like you mentioned, Iwandi, no flash.
No flash, and they're going to wait for level 2. They're waiting for it a little bit more. Don't know why we're looking at the Sejuani. Right back in. Hope knows there is no hope. And they are going to get themselves a nice and easy confirmed second kill on this bot side. And wouldn't you believe it? Guess who has those 2 kills?
Yeah, it's Ruler. And do you know why we're looking at the top side? It's because that Kanavi's ganking before Hung's even cleared red buff. And do you know what I call that? I call that a jungle diff. All of a sudden, I'm now JDG's biggest fan because
we're very fiery today, aren't we?
Look, we had a 2.5-hour break where we kind of just sat around and spoke, and it was quite fun, to be fair, but it did make us a bit loopy, in all fairness. And yeah, just great setup from Missing, and Hope has no opportunity to really do anything. Good job, Hope, for auto-attacking Missing at the sacred ritual of the dance. I can't believe he's done it. I'm still a bit mad. Anyway, that aside, Hung has made it to level 3. And there is a wave stacking on the bottom side, and with no flash available, ooh, a little bit unlucky there for Q. Didn't quite time the steadfast presence properly. Typically, that Poppy W is quite liberal with the timing as well. Just for a little bit of additional information as this trade sends Missing dangerously low, and Hung's in the area, so this could be a dive machine.
I'm gonna wait for it. I do have a question to ask you if we do after get this dive, because I'm curious to know if you have an answer. Missing, gonna look for the Hex Flash right back in on top of underneath this tower. Iwandi will tank 2 hits. That's a red buff on Ruler, and that pertains to my next question. Still got a cleanse available to him, should he want to go for it. There's going to be the Ignite. Iwandi's going to go down!
Oh my God.
That's a trade. Hung as well! Oh, it's disaster! That is 4 kills now to Ruler. He is not going to be unhappy with that. Sure, he loses a bit of CS, but that is definitely not the worst of trades.
Dude, that feels fine, Azruler. You don't care. You just got 2 kills worth of gold. Even if you're missing out on the wave and Hope's getting a plate, you're still trading up. So, good job, Ruler. Really, really well played to find the angle for the Void Seeker or the Prey Seeker. I can't remember what that specific W is called. I always get it mixed up with Rek'Sai.
I believe it's Void Seeker and the Rek'Sai one is Prey Seeker.
It's Prey Seeker.
Because Vexai looks for Prey. I could be wrong, but I'm 99% sure.
Either way, missing. There's a Beef Burger reference in there somewhere. And then Ruler just able... I think if that minion that dies the tower is alive for half a second more, the Kai'Sa W hitbox is a little bit chunky. It could have honestly hit that. But, yeah, ends up finding Iwandi. And then the trade onto Hung because he's still tanking tower. Excellent stuff from Ruler. And WE, their early plays haven't really gone the way that they wanted them to, right? They initiated that invade. Hope ends up with the red buff and Hung's on a very delayed clear. They try to dive bottom side. That goes terribly awry, and now they're going to lose out on this dragon almost no doubt. Iwandi will watch it. Can they really get in? Maybe they look for a fight after the fact, but even then if they do, I feel like it's just a doomed scenario.
We'll see. Charm lands right there onto the Rel, and she is dead. A 3v4, but a jump in now on top of Ruler to try and burn him out before anything can happen. The resets are coming in here for the Tristana. Hop, skip, and a jump, but don't have the damage to flash away. Shanks really wants to make this one work. Finally hits level 6, but just not enough in the tank. Ruler tried his absolute hardest, almost goes down. A Knight still chasing down here. Maybe if he lands a charm. Yeah, Hope recognized if he gets caught out there, he is dead, so he has to flash away, but it ends up being, honestly, still a pretty even fight. But again, JDG coming out on top.
Yeah, that was a strange contest from WE, Xi'an. I'm going to be honest. Loads of limit testing going on from WE, and specifically Shanks getting in the mix. Melee ranged, rocket jump resets, AoE damage, baby. That's what he was looking for. Get a look at the replay, because yeah, the reality of the situation is this is just a contest that's not happening, right? Iwandi gets chain CC, he just gets blown up. Great headbutt to stop Hope from following up on any damage. Hung then just kind of keeps on going forward with Ruler as the target. Shanks does find him, levels up off Kanavi, casts the Buster Shot, but not on to Missing to maybe get the chain stun away, and then Missing just... yeah, Missing gives him a taxi out. But yeah, the threat of the charm over the wall does make Hope blow his flash, so they still find the summoner spell. Definitely probably could have killed Hope on the other end of it. But hey, JDG still win out on the trade overall, and Ruler is above everyone in the gold department, 1,000 ahead of Knight. Only Hope is relatively close because he's been around all of this action too, but it's a 7-minute static shiv.
Yeah. It's a bit nutty. It's a little bit nutty. Now 5-2-1 here on the Kai'Sa, and look, you don't need to give Ruler any more advantages than he already has. It just feels like it's kind of just hindering yourself for the sake of hindering yourself. We will see though, maybe a little bit of a movement here on the bot side once these level 6s do get hit by both Hope and Ruler. Ruler should be hitting it just now. And that's when we start to think about where these kind of engages can come from, when you can either set up the engage yourself as WE with that Chain of Corruption, or shotgun yourself off the back of one. That is when this game gets very, very interesting, as we can see Knight using his priority in mid, just going to push in towards this top side and guarantee a red buff steal.
Exactly. Red buff. Kanavi. Hung is actually already level 6 though, so he's looking for a play on the bottom side, and Ruler doesn't have cleanse or flash, so we'll see if they can find the angle, but it's a very long way away, and they know that there's wards in both rushes. A bit awkward to approach, so it seems like he will just half on through. Surprised he didn't get clipped by vision there, but hey, really well maneuvered. Now all of the vision is gone. They're trying to bait Missing in to a headbutt pulverize. Kind of see by the positioning of Iwandi there, but didn't eat the bait. Now he's actually just going to show in the river because they're losing the Herald. They know they're losing the Herald, so they want to just try and force this play, or at the very least, make Ruler miss some of the CS. If he steps up for the wave, he just dies. Or they just kill Missing.
Oh, Missing just about gets out of the way of the Chain of Corruption, so they can't lair that CC. Flash for flash, Iwandi happy with that trade. And like you said, just constantly harassing now on this bot side. A reset from Kanavi off of that empowered recall after taking the Rift Herald means that WE are recognizing, look, our time in the bot lane has come to an end. Now we're going to see Shanks moving in here on top of Knight, looking to try and get some decent damage down here onto the mid laner of JDG. But WE not done with this game just yet. Yes, they are quite a few kills behind, but they're not giving up. Only 1,000 gold. Definitely not unheard of to see a team come back from this kind of a deficit. Oh, Ruler.
Oh.
Yeah, he's dead. Oh, he's going to ult. The flash in. The cleanse is going to be there as well. They can't keep a good man down. Missing did go off to a second there, and we're going to see them maybe look for a bit of a re-engage. He headbutts in after the Hex Flash, but now he gets brought in with a Magnet Storm. Missing. Really not thinking about the follow-up there, because I think Ruler was kind of like, mate, I don't have any summoners left.
Why did he Hex Flash in front of them? I don't get it. I'm so confused. You know, how far are we in to today, Xi'an? Technically, like 7th hour for you. We're approaching. I think approaching like 5.
Yeah, we start at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Technically, we start at 7 a.m. And then go until now. So it's been like nearly 7 hours.
And you know, today I decided to eat a pretty light breakfast, so I'm getting pretty loopy. If I see something like that again, it's not getting analysis. I'm gonna be honest.
it's a silent protest.
You just stood there. All right. Anyway, Dragon's up, Xi'an. So let's take a breath. That's the next focus, right? That's where both these teams want to go. WE have Ruler with no flash and cleanse, so he is a pretty free target if he can be hit by just about any piece of CC. So Ruler's gonna have to play really defensively. And JDG, I want to see them be first to the punch on an engage for a change. They've got Vi, they've got follow-up from Ahri, and, of course, Ruler. Make it work. Let's actually look for a target hit.
Well, looking for a target right now. They're going to try and all-in here onto Missing. Not the ideal target, but they are burning him down fairly well. He's going to lose that Unbreakable Will pretty soon. There it goes, and he's already down to about 10%. So little HP left for him to deal with. 369 made his way down here, has to flash away as there was going to be a Glacial Prison on his ass, and everyone now finding themselves on this bot side. WE feeling confident into JDG here despite the start, despite the kills going over to Ruler. He's just not that Kai'Sa right now. He needs like 2-3 items before he can really contest with this Varus wave clear, which is ironic to say as they both go Static Shiv.
Yep, exactly. It's just a lot easier to get through those waves as Hope. Now, WE, they're on the Dragon. Kanavi is here. He's put the Herald down to try and pressure them after the fight. And it's going to be bursting down. It's 50-50.
It's a 50-50, but it's Kazgurid by WE. Now 369 hasn't got really anywhere to go, and he is confirmed as well. Great Keeper's Verdict into the steadfast presence there from Cube to make sure that they not only got rid of Kanavi, but they also confirmed the kill here onto 369. WE find themselves on equal footing. We'll have a little bit of a push here as the Rift Herald did go down into mid, so they should be able to pick up 2 plates. But, I mean, WE, they are pushing back here against JDG and not letting them just have control over this game.
Yeah, I will say they are. Dragons one apiece. Ruler's trying to get a little bit of trade back here, and with the rotations in from Missing and from Kanavi, they will just force him away for now, but I think he's going to be able to come back with Iwandi at his side and actually collect this wave, so it shouldn't be too big an issue. Ruler, it's happened to the best of us, I know. And that's actually good. That's kind of big. He's not going to get a plate because of that. That's really unlucky, actually, as that minion was definitely in front of him, by the way. But hey, League of Legends is a game.
Yes, it is.
As we're in a replay now. Hello. So, Cube, great steadfast presence to remove Kanavi from the equation. He would have still been able to have cast a smite. In fact, he did. And yeah, then at that point, very easy to lock down 369 in this pit, who was trying to make a mess. As that's about it. That's all there is to break down in that replay. Really good stuff from WE. It's clean, it's concise.
Poppy things. Pops down the Keeper's Verdict. 369 does not fox out this ward and does not know that there are 4 members of WE now on this top side. We'll see the Rel. So has probably a pretty strong inclination that the rest of WE are here. And yeah, he's going to be pretty much chased out of this one. Rest of JDG slow. This has kind of been the theme we've seen in the early game now for the last 2 series here from JDG. Slow to react, slow to really make a presence felt. Now they're going to look for it. Magnastorm brings everybody in. Chain of Corruption keeps them all in the same spot. And that's 369 being confirmed down all over a blue buff. JDG end up losing their top laner. Our Ruler is playing PvE on that bot side, but still, this is still great movements here from WE to make sure they're not just losing out on that side of the map.
Yeah, this is really, really good from WE generally. I mean, Ruler's getting this tower for free, sure, but I mean, they're kind of just doing everything right. They're rotating faster, they're responding quicker, and it feels like generally JDG are just on the back foot when it comes to a lot of these exchanges. Bar that very first one at the first dragon of the game. So props to W right now. They're putting pressure on JDG. They're making them sweat.
They're going to look for a little bit more of a trade back here. Missing trying to be a nuisance alongside Kanavi, but should be pretty easy there for the WE jungler to secure his own red buff. And now Xi'an's got to make a decision. He has got a full plate of summoners, but I don't think he really thinks he can defend this. Once the Demolish proc comes in, it should be pretty easy there for Knight to confirm that. Now with the Rift Herald on the map, we might see another 5v5. You can see the Poppy of Cube already moving up from that bot side, looking to try and maybe catch over an overextension in that mid lane.
Yeah, exactly. See what they can find in the mid lane. Good push from JDG to secure that tower. And also, Xi'an, I just remembered you had a question for me like 10 minutes ago. I hope you still have it in your brain somewhere.
I don't think it's in any way relevant. It was to do with the early game. I was wondering how Kanavi... I actually answered it for myself because Ruler ended up getting the red buff. What I thought happened was that Kanavi secured the red buff on that level 1 invade. But then he was still only on 9 CS after... Or 12 CS after 3 camps or something like that. Or 4 camps. And I was like, that's weird. So then I was answering it myself and I saw that, yeah, Ruler had the red buff and he killed Hope. So therefore, he...
Oh, yeah.
Deduction was that Hope actually took it, and then Ruler got it from the kill. That was my question.
You know, if we're going back to when Hope violated the League of Legends Geneva Code, yeah, very, very terrible that he also took the red buff. Now, it's a Herald that we're fighting over. Teleports are in, and
we're not fighting over, we're stealing it away. There's going to be a Cube to come in, immediately drops the steadfast presence, and yeah, you do not want to be in the middle of all this single target CC. They can even get in and take the Rift Herald. WE just not being afraid of JDG right now. We will see Kanavi still got the cease and desist over to the top of his own jungle, but not really in a position to kind of go for that fight just yet. The Rift Herald will get dropped down. There comes the ultimate, knocks back too, and now you just can't defend this as Kanavi. You don't really have the position here to do it. In 20 seconds till that dragon spawns, WE could leave it if they want to go for resets, but again, great play here from WE.
Yeah, it's really... Like, honestly, if we're looking at these plays in isolation, if the nameplates are off and you said one of these teams is JDG, one of these teams is WE, I would assume that the red side is JDG, the way that they're outplaying WE at every single angle, but it's the reverse. JDG might just about get this dragon because WE had to reset, right? They expended their tempo on the steal and then dropping the Herald in the mid lane. And as ever, tempo is like a pendulum. Ooh, Knight. We'll just force out the Buster shot. Really well timed on the charm. So JDG, at the very least, strike back. Secure that Herald. Hung just walks in, doesn't he? Wow, that was smoke on 938. That sucks. Anyway, let's watch 369 get one shot as Chains of Corruption into everyone pressing their buttons on him, and the arrow to execute from like 700 damage. Sucks to be that guy. As WE then take that tower in the mid lane, so it feels really good to find that sequence of play, and now they can kind of just consider looking and waiting for this Baron to spawn up, right? And then try and create some pressure around there. This time, don't mis-execute like how you did in game 1. See if you can continue to kind of just, again, my best way to put it is make WE or make JDG sweat at each individual given moment that they can.
We'll see. WE still now pushing in the pressure here. I love these offensive builds coming out from the Sejuanis, kind of saying, look, I don't need to be anything more than just a CC bot, a little bit of a wall in front of JDG to make sure that my team could do the damage. If the Tristana and the Varus are given time to put in their auto attacks, we see how much damage you can get with a explosive, you know, kind of a bomb on your head, a load of blighted quivers. So Knight, though, is going into that little bit more of split push mode, and they're kind of trying to see if they can deal with multiple different lanes. This is decent here from JDG just to try and regain control, and honestly, if Knight's left alone for another wave, he should be able to confirm that.
Yeah, he should be able to. Seems like WE will respond, though, as Knight is now very awkwardly in no man's land, but I think he should be able to just freely walk out. Ships in the Knight. Like you say, given a lot of space up there, we'll see if we can return surely, as I imagine JDG are just going to keep this same lane assignment. Wait for a couple of people to come back out on the map and then maybe look for aggression towards that side of the map. But again, JDG for me, Machine, they've just been on the back foot. I don't think I've seen Kanavi press his Arky aggressively, right? Not like in response, there's already a fight going on. I haven't seen him start a fight with it yet. So I would really like to see JDG look for that aggression. But at the same time, right, WE, their composition, it is pretty wholly built for dealing with dive and dealing with engage. So it is a bit of a nitpick, and it's very difficult to find angles when you're dealing with Poppy, you're dealing with Rel, Chains of Corruption from the Vi, Buster Shot, right? There are so many tools. Speaking of, Missing's going to have to use his ultimate to dissuade and engage from one of those tools inside the Chains of Corruption, but much shorter cooldown on the Chains in comparison to that ultimate from Alistar.
We'll wait. Kind of a bit of a lull in the action right now. Still a dead even game in terms of gold. 36k or just underneath it for both of these teams. Second items now coming through for most of the important carries. As WE now start to prioritize their vision around this newly spawned Baron. That's where they kind of started to fall away for them in the first game, and maybe it's going to happen again here in this one. We are going to see a perfectly buffered ultimate there from Shanks, and they punish here onto Kanavi. Both flashes by Kanavi and Knight used to try and make that play happen, but Shanks was as cold as ice. That was so well played.
Yeah, really well played by Shanks. Under the pressure there of being engaged on. Times the rocket jump well. And again, this is kind of why I was just saying, like, obviously a bit frustrating to not see JDG pull the trigger on some of their tools, but it's so difficult.
Oh, Ruler! He's dead, though. It was fancy, but he's going to die.
What?
That means that you now got 369 again in a terrible spot here, but with Ruler dead and a TP available for Shanks, they might look to try and re-engage on this Baron.
Yeah, surely, right? I mean, WE can start this one up. There's no ultimates available besides the Dominus. Teleport's coming back in from Shanks, like you mentioned, for the DPS, so 369 really has to pull out a clinic here.
Here we go. Charm lands. They can burn down the Sejuani to be huge, but that denial, the Keeper's verdict, and the verdict is no. Kanavi will not be able to get himself into on time. They're trying to get the resets in. Hope will have to flash over the wall. But for the moment, he's still going well. Knight has got himself a Spirit Rush, and they should be able to kill off the AD carry of WE. Now they can get Iwandi as well. What was looking like a perfectly clean-cut win here for the side of WE has gotten a little bit scrappy, but they still get themselves the Baron.
Still with the Baron. WE, comfortable enough position. Because they died so quickly, they will be back out on the map just about in time for when the dragon spawns. They'll spawn as the dragon spawns. We'll see whether or not they can actually contest it. That's the big question, right? JDG taking resets of their own in the top side of the map. I imagine a 5v5 is still going to occur over this. If you're WE, you don't want to give JDG sole point. You want to pick this one up for yourself. Keep things as even as you can. As we're getting timing on this rocket jump from Shanks. It's just so well played.
Insane.
And yeah, I'm not... Ruler just... Okay, we're not going to get pro view on this. So does he just think he has 100 to 0? I guess.
Oh, he gets hit by the Chain of Corruption.
Oh,
that is so unfortunate. He obviously wanted to try and make some movement around it, but had to cleanse and immediately ult because he couldn't move. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, Poke kind of throwing it back in Poke. I mean, at the end of the day, even once Ruler goes in, Chains of Corruption or not, he's still getting hit by it. I think that's the thing. Still, very, very unfortunate timing for Ruler. A bit questionable for me. I understand he definitely has lethal if it's an isolated Shanks, right? But certainly not with all three members clumped up together. JDG did get that dragon whilst it was in the replay that I was talking about, so it doesn't really seem like a major contest actually went through for it. So, JDG at soul point. Maybe that Ocean Soul can kind of tip the scales. That was an attempt at fishing. That goes a little bit awry.
A little bit awry, but for the moment, JDG not out of control of this game. We need to keep up this pressure, and they are doing just that. Cube pushing in this bot side with this Baron. A lot more pressure and presence available for WE on this Baron pick, and they should be able to pick up at least one of these tier 2s. So, good rotations now coming in. No real objective on the map for at least another 4 minutes. Maybe even a little bit less because of the Baron respawning, but overall, you're not unhappy with the state of the game for now for WE, but we saw this in game number 1, and even despite all these advantages. It's still only just under 1,000 gold lead for WE. JDG still had those 3 dragons, so it's honestly still a very even game despite WE making all these plays.
I've got it. WE, don't fight around mid lane if there's a... Don't fight around the lane if there's a wave, all right? Just let all of your fights be in the river or in the jungle and hope that there's no wave. And then you'll be okay, right?
That's technically a negative Baron power play.
Yeah, well, not technically. It is.
It's
just, it's so far a negative Baron power play that it actually is just negative gold.
That's unfortunate.
So
that kind of sucks.
Not the best. All right, things were traded out. Tier 2 on either side of the map, top to bot from JDG. So yeah, again, you know, even though they didn't get away with that Baron, they got away with it, but they didn't even get the Dragon to try and snowball a couple of objectives away from JDG. So things still up in the air, I think it's safe to say, given what happened in game number 1 of this series. JDG still have the opportunity to win it, even if it feels definitely super uncharacteristic from the JDG side to be struggling so much on the level of, you know, coordination, right? They typically are the team that are so far on the same page that it doesn't look right? It doesn't look human. Check him PC, that copy paster. Very far and few away.
It's not normal.
From that. Not normal. Not normal at all. WE definitely pushed JDG a bit. Ruler gets hit by that, and that's his cleanse.
Missing is gonna go missing as he gets caught out here. Cube stopping Knight from having any impact in this fight. And again, another great pick here for WE. No objective really to take after the fact, but just good to kind of get the cleanse out, gets the flash and the ignite out of the Alistar as well. So again, little small advantages coming in here for the side of WE, and again, just to kind of keep them in this series, they want to try and get into a 1-1, get that 2-1 victory, and push themselves towards that top 6. If they lose this, they're almost out of that contention. Here we go. They're going to have a TP coming in. There's going to be an ultimate available there, but the redemption comes down from the side of WE. There's going to be the Keeper's Verdict. Going to be used off to the side. Not quite sure what Cube was looking for, but now Knight has to flash away from all this movement because Ruler tried to find some damage. A flash away by Hope as 369 looks to try and confirm his kill. Lots of burning flashes. Ruler tries to get the damage in, but that's a full tank Poppy up on that top side. It's again very scrappy. Lots of summoners burned, but JDG still looking more confident in these fights.
Yeah, they are still looking quite confident, aren't they? Ruler especially. I think he's going to be the difference maker. I mean, he's always the difference maker, but you can see how much damage he can deal to the squishier champions here, right? Shanks down to Iwandi. If he's left alone for even a moment, he's an assassin right now. I'll put it that way. So that's what they need to do. They need to try and break the fight apart as JDG. Maybe in this very weird way, right? If you try and front to back engage as JDG into WE's composition, 1-to-1, with how these comps interact, you should probably just lose. Maybe you look to really, like, be weird as JDG. Get creative, like flank from different angles but engage on different targets and let Ruler really pick. That's maybe how you break through this defense as WE. Because right now, they've got control of the river. If JDG do manage to secure this dragon, it is sold, but with Baron on the map, they could actually gambit, give this dragon up and actually secure the Baron instead.
That's what getting those early dragons secures you, the tempo decisions. So now WE recognize this and they're pushing in towards that mid lane. They've got a cannon if they wanted to try and push in to try and get that, but JDG already forcing them here onto the Baron. There's a good bit of damage onto Iwandi. He's already lost half his HP, but Knight loses the Spirit Rush. Baron still being taken here. Iwandi crashes down away from this whole entire fight. Baron resets. Good charm there, straight in, right on top of Shanks, who does not get the buffer, but eventually gets himself away. Now with the redemption coming out, trying to give back a little bit more HP to Iwandi. We can see them kind of fighting on two different fronts. Cube seeing if he can keep everybody away. Ruler goes golden, flashes away, just gonna get himself back out of this fight as Shanks goes in. One more auto attack as both Shanks and Ruler take each other out. It's a 2-for-2. These health bars are low, but you gotta feel with the long range of this Varus, it's all WE's time now. They know they've got themselves the jungler advantage as well, so they can look for this Baron if they truly feel it.
Yeah, if they can get maybe missing here, smite commit. It's not going to be enough slow. A couple more flashes, missing's gone. Surely, oh, healing from the passive. Never mind. A little bit too tanky, and that is actually just about enough time to probably stop WE from going towards the Baron. JDG, however, that fight is kind of along the lines of what I was talking about. We had that engage followed up very quickly from missing on that trio, and then Canavio's on the other two members of WE, which gave Ruler the int. This is what I'm talking about. Make the fight messy. actually try and break WE apart so they can't just pick off each individual target that walks in through the front door. Make it a multi-angled affair, and I think Ruler will have the ability to actually sneak into the backline. Issue is now with no flash, repositioning is going to be a lot more difficult. He's got cleanse, so he can blow away something like the Glacial Prison, but it's still going to be difficult on WE. I think after watching that one fight, could even try and adapt and just ensure that they stay on top of each other again.
No stopwatch this time, though, for Ruler. Has got the cleanse, but again, Flash was burnt as well. He might be going back to try and finish up that Zhonya's, and honestly, I think it's totally worth it. Yep, there it is. That is a very worth buy coming out here for the side of JDG. And honestly, even if they do give up this Dragon, I feel like having that extra security is just so invaluable. As now everyone starts to move in. WE do have the vision control for the moment, but they do have a ward sneakily on the back of that Baron or Dragon Pits. They know that this has only been started just now. Missing goes in to try and disrupt these tanks, this front line. Kanavi now jumping into the back of the pit as he looks to try and fight this one off. Cube so low, but the Redemption comes out, keeps him alive. Kanavi finished off the Dragon, and that is the Ocean Soul as Ruler shotguns himself right back in the back of the pit. Oh, Jamada, it's game one all over again. One small fight in favor of JDG, and Ruler picks up a triple. It's a full house with trips on dubs, and JDG will be able to end the game.
And that's exactly what the cherry on the top is, isn't it? It's 30 minutes again. There's a mid-wave again, and JDG are winning a team fight in a game where they really had no right to do so again, and they will close out this series 2-0 against WE.
Not only will they close out this series, they will confirm themselves top two. 2-0 today gets them too much of a game difference for anybody to really be contesting them. And that means we are going to be seeing BLG and JDG as our top two teams here in the regular split. They will go all the way to the end of the gauntlet, basically, into the double elimination, as the MSI champions and the MSI runner-ups will almost certainly be seeing each other once again in those playoffs.
Yep, almost certainly. It feels like the battle of 2023 here in the LPL. BLG and JDG. That rivalry continues to brew, develop, and really continue. WE, I feel bad for them in this game.
Yeah,
JDG clearly off form. JDG clearly off form. Let's not, kind of not assess the situation for what it is. We've seen JDG slaughter teams right next to them in the standings, right? So for them to kind of still struggle a bit against WE is a testament to them being a bit off form, but also for WE to stand up to a JDG, off form or not, is still a really, really positive sign for them moving forward towards playoffs, right? And even though they will drop down now to, I believe, 7-7, and likely locks them into this 7th to 10th mosh pit, it does make me feel like, hey, any of these teams that they come up against around them, they have a very, very solid shot of, contesting and taking down, because it feels like they have found their groove, right? They have found what their, identity is as a team, W, and that is, around those sort of later game team fights and drafting things where they have enough agency to make team fights happen in the early game if they need to,